All right, welcome back, Ultra Uncovered. We're talking with Nicole Bitter today. Thank you so much for joining us, Nicole.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Yeah, we're super excited to see that you are lining up this year at the Leadville 100. So we wanted to chat with you a little bit. You are a very much a veteran of the sport. You've been racing for a long time, and you have a ton of amazing results in your past, including multiple top 10s at Western, wins, great results on ultra marathons dating back to 2012. And you do a variety and a really diverse mixture of races. I think I first saw you or met you at Canyons 100K a few years ago. We were both at Run Rabbit last year. So maybe I think a lot of the audience will know who you are, but just a little bit about kind of maybe why you're interested in coming back to Leadville.
Yeah. Well, just in I guess to your point, I've raced from an ultra perspective for a very long time. And so I've been able to check a number of races off my bucket list. I actually happened to race Leadville back in 2013, believe it or not. So that not only ages me quite a bit, but I'm fortunate enough to have been able to stick around for, a pretty lengthy period of time. But I have a lot of unanswered questions about my ability to tackle this race. I think I was in second or third until the last about 10 miles. So I was running fairly well, but my inexperience came out and I basically, humbly walked it in. So I think I just want to give it another go. And it's a race that's always been on my list to try and go back and see if I can have an improved result. Maybe not even compared to anybody else in the field, but just for myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And 10 years of experience bringing that in, I think is going to be massive. What do you feel like, what do you feel like you'll do differently this year at Leadville, or what's maybe just a little bit about your plan and thought process on achieving that goal?
Yeah, well, really good question. So I think I will rely on my experience. Back at that point, that was my second 100. I didn't actually even have a pack because of the mule rule. My pacer was carrying my stuff with me. I didn't own one actually. And I dropped my pacer. And so I didn't have fuel or
Oh
I was
no.
completely a newbie, unprepared. So this time I'll have my husband, which makes things a lot easier. He'll be running with me. So I think when we get the opportunity to race together and he paces me, um it's it's fun. We have a lot of good memories of all of the westerns together. So yes, I will rely on him to be helping me pull through, but hopefully I do not make some of the newbie mistakes of my past.
Well, I saw that you and Zach were in Taos for a training camp. And so
Yeah.
that was going to be one of my questions is, obviously, you're getting in a little bit of that altitude exposure. Can you tell us a little bit about the kinds of runs that you were doing in Taos and maybe just some advice for some folks out there who might be tackling a high altitude 100 like Leadville, but coming from a lower elevation?
Yeah, really good question. It's quite challenging, I found over the years. So in full transparency, live in Austin, Texas. So definitely a flatlander. And so Zach and I committed the summer to being out 3 weeks before the race. So we were in Taos, did some good climbing out in the ski valley, and we are very fortunate to have lovely friends in Telluride. So we're staying with Nick and Lauren Curry now before the race. So not only do we get the chance to be with our favorite people, but also great to train. And I mean, such a beautiful place. So to your very good point, I do think if you can get the opportunity to acclimate, it does help. I've noticed now I'm finally starting to feel better running at altitude because that is just one of those elements. If you can't get out early, I think it's hard. I've personally never used an altitude 10 or anything like that. I've historically not gone out to races early to acclimate, and I've always wished I would have done so. So this was finally our decision at 42 years old to make that choice. So I'm glad we prioritized it because it definitely helps with the training and racing, I think.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're seeing yourself like, okay, I feel like I'm getting over this hump, like maybe like some paces down flat or feeling a little bit better at this elevation
Yes.
or something like that. Because for me, when I'm working hard up a mountain, it's really hard for me to tell, am I improving in altitude or not? But
Yeah.
it really is an indicator of like, okay, my flat, easy pace is feeling different at this elevation.
No, you're so spot on. It's hard to tease out, and sometimes different days I feel differently at altitude. Right, one day I start to feel a little more fresh. I then the next day I wake up and I'm like, "Ooh, I can feel it again." So I don't know. It's one of those things. It would be interesting to tease out, but I feel overall like we're starting to acclimate quite well. Zach and I were talking about that this morning.
Nice. That's awesome. Say hi to Nick and Lauren. They're great.
Yes.
Yeah, good friends of mine as well. So that's really cool. You're with them, and Nick just coming off his Western and
Yes.
Hard Rock back to back.
Oh,
I saw
amazing.
him out at Hard
Yes.
Rock, and it was really. He's just
Yes.
he's amazing. So great vibes to be around, I'm sure, with their all of their energy. What you said, Zach's going to be pacing you out there. Are Nick and Lauren going to come out to help crew, or what does that look like from a crewing other pacer standpoint?
Yeah, I think Nick is going to come with and join us for the fun. And then I have a few friends that have recently moved from Austin to Colorado,
Mhm.
and they're going to come out and crew. So I have a great group of friends that will be out there, and it's just a good excuse to, get together, see them. So excited about that.
Yeah.
Um,
One
so
thing, one thing I just wanted to touch on, with you, Nicole, is just kind of your longevity. Just switching gears a little bit, like, is there anything that you feel has really contributed to you being able to be in the sport as long as you have? Like, I know that you work full time and you have a very demanding, stressful job as well. And I know from what I've heard of you, on other interviews, that's absolutely by choice to have both of those aspects of your life. But what do you feel like has helped you be in the sport for so long?
Well, thank you for that. Sometimes I feel like I have a lot of moments where I'm like, oh, that was, a disaster and I didn't get through that race. But I think for me, what I found is I like the balance. I know for some people that's not how they like to live. They're all in on something. But I just find for myself that I like having a lot of different facets that I concentrate on, right? And maybe that means for one race, you're not able to do quite as well. You're prioritizing work. You have extra stress. But I've just found from a longevity perspective, a lot of people tend to overtrain anyways, right? So it's kind of nice to have the balance because it's just, again, something else that I'm focused on. So, for me, that works and I've appreciated that. I just feel like it's a great balance to be sitting all day and then I get the chance to go out and run. So I appreciate that. I think more, just the opportunity to have that time away from my desk to run with my dogs or, friends. So that's kind of how I've approached, but I definitely noticed the competition has gotten so intense now. It's amazing. It's so
Mhm.
cool to watch what people are doing that are all in and invested. So, I totally think that's incredible and amazing to watch. But for me, I kind of just figure I'm competing against myself, trying to do the best I can. It's just keep staying out there.
Yeah, kind of
Well,
continue.
I think you're being a little modest there because, looking up your result from 2013, you still got the big buckle. You
Oh,
still got in under
I didn't
25
remember that.
hours.
Oh, good. Okay.
So I think you still did really well, but maybe there's still room for you to improve there.
Yeah,
And, the other thing I was thinking was, clearly Zach is probably pacing you the entire section that he can pace you, correct?
he is.
And
He's gonna be out there the whole time. I think he's secretly scoping out because I think he wants to do it. So,
Mm.
yeah.
he'll get some steps on course
Heard it
there.
here first.
And I hope you still take advantage of the muling, even though you've learned, to have a pack and all of
Yeah.
the things that you've learned. But my
Yeah.
question for you is there anything about the event or coming out for Leadville that makes you nervous despite all of your experience?
Oh, all the time. Every time I line up for a 100-mile race, I'm nervous, right? There's so many uncertainties and unknowns, and just mentally it's challenging. So all the time. I mean, there's so many things that can go right, but there's also so many things that have gone wrong. And when you've been racing as long as I can say I have, I've seen the gamut, right? So I think, again, it's just a testament to doing the best you can on the day. If it's not your day, if you can stay out there healthy, that's great. Get it done. Um, that's really always my goal as I approach these. But absolutely, I'm always intimidated by the 100-mile distance.
It sounds like it's a smart and healthy respect for the
Yeah.
distance as opposed to, as someone
So
who's
much
learned
respect.
a lot of lessons. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there
So
something
much
that you're
respect.
most looking forward to out there?
The time with running with Zach, that's always a memory I have. I'm always fortunate that he's been able to pace me at so many races, right? So we have a lot of good memories, and I feel like we're a good team when we're together. So I appreciate that. And then just seeing all my friends out there, and the competitors. I mean, it's just such a fun thing to say, wow, we had the opportunity on a Saturday to run through these beautiful places, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I am just feel so fortunate to be able to get out to Colorado, get out of the the heat in Texas, and just spend a day in the mountains. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you've got like 80 results on ultra sign up. You've run a lot of races, and that's just ultra sign up, not even. So, yeah, do you feel like at this point, because I do, when I think about kind of you as a runner, I think about the 100-mile distance for sure, but you race a lot of different distances. Do you like to just switch it up, or is there something that, I mean, do you feel like you really, really love the 100-mile distance in particular?
I kind of like to switch it up because I don't like, for me, I feel, especially as again, I keep saying this, but the older I get,
Yeah.
I kind of tend to only want to race a limited amount of 100 miles a year.
Hmm.
I feel like from a recovery standpoint, it just
Hmm.
helps. So I like to do other distances just to be out there and see different courses in different places. I love the opportunity to kind of like travel and check out different races around the world. So that's something that I've been really blessed to have the opportunity. So when I get a chance to do that, that's usually how I select. I don't necessarily pick races because I'm going to be the best at it, right? Like if anything, I try and do things that are sometimes outside of my wheelhouse just to get the experience.
Yeah.
And I'm very comfortable with failure. So as I've gotten, I think as you get older, you're just more comfortable knowing, you'd rather take on the challenge. And so that's how I've kind of approached racing, I'd say, in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
I love that because it's just kind of like, well, this is my bucket list of races I want to do. I'm just going to do them, go for them, and build a life resume of like traveling and going where I want to go and experiencing what I want to experience, which I think is a really healthy and yeah, just a lovely way to approach running. So
oh, thank you.
yeah,
Um, it's been a fun ride, right? So
yeah. Well, you're still going.
I'm still on the train.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about, just if you're open to sharing, do you have any particular goals for the race this year?
Honestly, to finish and beat my time last time.
Nice.
Just feel strong the whole time. That's really my goal.
Yeah.
I don't wear a watch, so
Wow. Okay.
I
Okay.
don't even, I'm sure Zach will be checking and making
Uh-huh.
sure I am like where he would prefer I am from like a timing perspective. But those are my goals, really, just to do the best I can, beat my time from last results. And again, this is a little trickier for me. Like flat races, I have a better sense of,
Mhm.
how to go about. But these mountain races, I just really would like to finish.
Russ, do you have anything else?
Oh, nice. Well, thank you. Thanks for the honor to have me on, and I look forward to seeing you out there as well. Good luck to your
Yeah.
runner.
Thank you so much for joining, Nicole. You're an absolute legend and inspiration in the sport. So thank you for joining us. We will look forward to seeing you and hope you have an amazing day out there.
Thank you. That means the world.
Thanks.